Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to week 2 of Zesty's Best Bets 2024. We are in NFL week 2, college football week 3, and it was a decent opening week. There was obviously some fuckery afoot in a couple games, which we will get into here shortly. But we are back with another full slate here for you. And we are going to dip into a series of NFL games and then some miscellaneous action here at the end of the show. So first, we're going to kick it off with our newest segment of the show. And that is brought to you by Prize Picks. Just kidding, not a show sponsor. But this segment...
Yeah, hopefully one day.
One day. But first we'll go to our newest segment, which we call That is Fucking Point Shaving, Boss, in which we are going to describe a couple different areas where the ball just clearly did not bounce our way, and it looked fucking intentional for all intents and purposes. So, here we go.
Yeah. Bless your heart, Will Levis. You take a fact. Your team probably wins. You're pushing up roses. You're looking pretty good. But however, you decided to go 59% for 127 yards. One touchdown, technically 2 touchdowns because you threw the game losing pick on some fuckery of a Carson Wentz-esque, Brandon Weeder-esque, dumbest shit in the world esque, and lose the game. And then you had the chance to be heroic and you shit the bed. And even before you shit the bed completely, you decided to take it into your own hands to lose the game. You had a fumble that resulted in 3 points. Your defense saved your ass. Now we're getting into the fourth quarter. We have a 14-point lead. Technically, the bettors have a 17-point lead, give or take. Math is incorrect there. Correct me. But you shit the bed the entire game. And Caleb Williams didn't throw for 100 yards. They didn't score an offensive touchdown. You single-handedly lost a cover. But people are going to Venmo you for some money and a victory for your own team. Pull your head out of your ass.
That is a good one. Definitely some point shaving there when you're throwing the other team a touchdown pass to win it. Thanks for that, fucker. Did we have any other point shaving candidates?
Not point shaving, but Rams. Come on. Cover. You had the lead. We're up 7. 4 minutes to go. Real game time. We're only up 3. Hey, we don't play in real game time around here. Close it out. Don't allow a field goal. Allow a touchdown before then, or play a little bit of defense. You can't go back to back. You can't give up 10 points to blow a cover when we're at 7 points. Actually, technically, we were up 8.5 points. You can't blow an 8.5 point cover with 4 minutes in. That's just unacceptable, gentlemen. Pull your heads together.
Piss poor indeed. Well, into more exciting news. Steven, where are we heading?
Well, week 2, I believe we're heading to Buffalo to get into some Dolphin action. Isn't that correct? Miami. Oh,
That is correct.
my Lord. I don't know. So they'll be able to see this at home. Question: will the Bills detain Tyreek in Miami? I'm going to answer that and say no. I'm going to say Miami-Dade police has shamed Tyreek Hill enough for the season. He'll be free of any more incidents.
Yeah. To add my input on that, truthfully, Buffalo is the better team. They've pretty much dominated this rivalry, I guess, this divisional matchup. You followed the show, last year we were adamant that they would win the division in week 10 when it was dire. It was looking very dire for Buffalo. A lot of the Sharps were on Miami heading into the divisional clinching game. We, as a chat, we hammered Buffalo, dominated. Not so fast. I wouldn't say this is a rivalry game, or not a rivalry game, but a revenge game. The Heat in Miami is probably not going to play that much of a factor due to it being a late game. But Buffalo with all sorts of. Uh, I'm higher on the Cardinals than I am week 2 than I was going into the year, but they look like a wreck and just barely got out of there with a push, let alone a victory. I should swap that, let alone a victory and a push. But there's a lot of things going on with Buffalo, and it goes back to their defense. They really don't have an identity. They don't have a line. The Dolphins do have an issue at running back, but this is from the Shanahan tree. We just watch what they did. They don't need a running back. It's great if they have a great running back, but whether it's Jeff Wilson or the right kid, I believe he's from Tennessee, it doesn't. A-Chain, if he goes, if he doesn't go, they're still going to motion you to death. They're still going to put your linebackers, which is a weakness currently in Buffalo. They're going to put you in situations, and then they still have speed over the top. Tua is still very accurate. They're very quick. They didn't look great against Jacksonville. It's a good opportunity to buy high on the lesser team, which we'll see how it works. But the number here, it's Miami.
Yeah, I tend to agree with this. I think Buffalo's going to struggle a little bit here, and Miami, to the extent that this matters in the NFL, certainly is going to galvanize their team having the experience they've had in the last week. On a short week, maybe that matters more than others when you're thinking about preparation. But we'll see. I expect the Bills to be very familiar with what Miami's wanting to do as well. And to me, this is just Bills have a little bit of a problem there on defense that you talked about. Linebacker position, Matt Milano's still out. So their ability to counteract what the Dolphins are going to want to do, I think, is extremely hindered here. I'll lay the points with the Fins as well.
Yeah, I think we're all on the Fins. I really don't have much to add there. Other than I just think the Bills were very underwhelming week 1. And y'all know me, recency bias king. So, but that being said, I like where things are trending. So call it recency bias, but also call it what I've seen lately. They've got some things to figure out. They definitely got some things to figure out in Buffalo. And I think Miami figured a lot of things out in week 1 and still got a win. So I expect them to keep rolling. Next, we're headed off to. Oh, here we go. Did the Bengals get hacked? It's a fair question.
Sure seems that way.
Did you get
Yeah.
any of the Bengals experience this weekend, Cody, or were you on red zone, stuck on other games?
I got enough experience I needed. There seems to be a little bit of fornication going in Cincinnati. But I'm on the under here. The Patriots do what the Patriots do. They had all offseason to prepare for this. P. Higgins was out. I believe Chase wasn't on a designated snap count, but he was as he appeared. The lack of Joe Mixon in Cincinnati kind of reared its head a little bit. But the Patriots were still going to play defense. They played defense last year. It wasn't I wouldn't say a fluke, but it was still, he was on the defensive staff. In fact, I think he was a defensive coordinator. It's very continuity in their system. Was I surprised that Cincinnati put up 10 points and looked very half-assed? Sure, but you look on the other side of this, Seattle's going across the country. They didn't look great against Denver, which we don't believe Denver's going to really light the world on fire. I'm looking at the stats here. Geno had 158 yards. It was very similar to Joe Burrow. Although Burrow had to throw it, but they threw it quite a bit with Seattle. There's questions with Walker, even though I think Charbonnet is a very capable backup. But that's what the Patriots do. That's just their DNA. They stop the inside run. They push you off your spot. Now, what is Geno going to do? Short week, East Coast or West Coast going East Coast. He just has the makings of an ugly game all around. I don't see the Patriots going 2-0, but it's very hard to back Seattle, so that's why I'm on the total here. I mean, it can be a blowout one way or the other, 27-10, and you're still under the total. I just don't see that crazy of a scenario going on, even with special teams or defensive touchdown. Like it's just the gameplay doesn't seem to make sense with two teams that want to run the ball, even if Seattle breaks something, deep play to make Metcalf, or I don't really see the Patriots having an explosive play. That's basically going into the play here.
Indeed. Anonymous, your thoughts on this? I mean, to me, it's an under game for sure. Not going to watch, but tell me if you have any thoughts beyond that.
No, I tend to agree here. I just don't understand where the points are going to come from. And if points do come, everybody in the nation is going to be disappointed because nobody's going to have them on their fantasy teams. So
It's true. Not many Patriots making rosters, but they did look surprisingly good, decent, at least week one. So we'll see. Maybe they shock the world here week two, but I wouldn't bet on it, folks. And here we go on to Arizona. Tell us about another underwhelming performance from a wannabe star, hopefully star receiver. You got to come out of the woodwork this week, or also I'm going to do a little segment I call producing on the fly because I'm just realizing I'm in Vegas right now. I'm in my room at the Luxor, so I'm going to go down to the sports book. We're going to give it a little look-see. We're going to continue to do the show, but we're going to go on a little field trip with producer Steve here. So maybe we'll even make a bet together, huh?
That's his best bet, live from Vegas.
Motherfucking right.
Should let off with that. Yeah,
Anyway, tell
Arizona.
me about tell us about Arizona, and I'll make my way down to the floor.
Didn't watch as much of this game as I wanted to because honestly, Buffalo was my survivor pick, and once I started looking at it, because I thought the Cardinals would be relatively hot garbage. Week 2, you typically learn a little more. Is the team as bad as they were? Is the team as good as they showed? And honestly, I was pretty impressed with Arizona. I always think I have thought Gannon was a good coach even last year without a quarterback. Obviously, this team's going to go as Kyler goes. He does have injury history, but I do think having a number one, even though he didn't hit him when he should have, it still opens the offense to that extent. They are a viable, scary team. And Gannon hangs his hat on defense, and his defense impressed me more than anything. I know they gave up 34, but it was 17-10 at halftime. So did he make an adjustment? Did Buffalo make an adjustment? It's the NFL. It's all about adjustments, and I just think this is a catchy spot with the Rams. They are down, I believe, 3 offensive linemen, a number 2 receiver. I think this is, kind of hit on it later in the show if we have time. But games that make so much sense as teasers, I like to bet the opposite side. I mean, teasers typically don't have the handle, but you run enough teasers together, you're bound to be caught with Cincinnati last week, where you ease them down to this win, and it kind of rat fucks you. So I like the idea that, oh, I can, and this is not the bet, this is just my thought process. Oh, I can tease the Rams up to 7.5 and a touchdown. It just kind of triggers something in my thought process, further deeper into the game that somebody's reeling in some bad fear. I do think the Cardinals went outright. It was a divisional game. Obviously, if they went out to cover. But I'm not sure it's really that close. I was pretty impressed with the Cardinals, to be honest with you, in a losing effort.
I didn't see much of the Cardinals either last week. I did watch a lot of the Rams. They were underwhelming, as we all know. But I'm not mad at that analysis. I'll gather my thoughts after the anonymous betting public chimes in.
Yeah, happy to do so. To me, I also enjoyed what the Cardinals were able to do throughout most of that game, especially since the line was at 6 or 6.5. So, you got to push or cover no matter which way you went there against the Bills. This week, you have the Rams, who are a little bit depleted, and Naku is going to be sitting this one out. He's on IR, which means Cooper Kupp's going to be the focus. To your point about Gannon, I think he's going to be able to focus in, get the Rams into spots that they don't want to be in with Stafford. Stafford just doesn't do the same things that Josh Allen does to a defense. So whatever adjustments the Bills are able to make against Cardinals in the second half, I doubt the Rams are going to be able to do the same things. So unless it's just a matter of, purely not making good adjustments throughout the game, which I don't think it is, because Gannon has proven that he knows what he's doing on defense, that I like the Cardinals to have a good performance at home as well. So go Cards.
Just to close that out, not that Josh Allen takes a whole hell of a lot of snaps from under center. I believe, but necessarily fact checking, the Rams are the lowest percentage team under center, but because they have so much motion, they can get away with it. But as the public just mentioned, the edge rushers can be edge rushers. They don't have to be edge setters. And the Rams struggled to run. And this is not a slight on the or Detroit by any means. It's a different ball game here. On the defensive side now, well, not the defensive side. It's just a different ball game when you don't have the run game. And they will get the run game going, but when you're down 3 offensive linemen and haven't worked together, it's not as simple as plug and play because there's so many intricacies in between each play call or play scheme on your spot as an offensive lineman versus what the skill positions and all the sector people get credit for. But they underachieve because of that. Like it is possible to get together because we do have a great scheme. I just think it's a tough spot to come. Road divisional game. Prime time road then divisional game against a pretty formidable, well, formidable might be wrong, but a very capable defense or offense at least at that point where, at the 1 point doesn't really matter because the total is 48.5. I just think it's a good spot by the Rams coming home after feeling pretty good. Honestly, with the loss, nobody's going to feel good about a loss, but I think they're trending in the right way. The Rams are a little depleted.
All right. On to the next, which means on to Cincinnati. Now, we already discussed, did they get hacked? Did they get hacked? And will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Our betting public is lined up. Oh, my goodness. I don't think I've ever seen that photo of Joey Stogies. But everybody in our listening audience, you got to go check this photo out because he's definitely looking like Slim Shady these days. Anyway, Bengals +5 at the Chiefs. Total's 47.5. Give us your thoughts, Zest. I'm headed down to the book right now.
Yeah, as of this morning, it was 6. As of
These are TMZ ESPN bet lines that we pulled just before the show. So accurate-ish.
That is true.
I am saying it is trending, so it might be 5. As of this morning, it was 6. As of before airing, a lot of this is the NFL. Outside of the Panthers, you're never as good. Never as bad as you look. You're never as good as you play. Which I guess the Chiefs they play pretty damn good and they seem to hold that level. There's something about the Bengals, their scheme, and I think it's more of the offensive scheme to attack the Chiefs. It's very possible. I saw a meme when Joe Burrow picked up a fucking water bottle and he chipped his wrist, and everybody's going ape shit over it. With he's not healthy. They didn't have a run game. They there was so much in this game at home that caught everybody off guard, including 99% of everybody that took them in their survival pool. I just want to stress, you're not as bad as you think. Don't jump to it. The comparison, so it was what, 2.5 on the Ravens. So the Ravens and Cincinnati are comparable. They were 1A, 1B, whatever you want to say for the futures. look ahead to win the division. It likely play a tougher division. Let's see how that plays out. This is just a numbers play. You want to call it 3-point swing from 4 to 6 to 3.5. This number is going to continue to creep down. Cincinnati always plays Kansas City better. Joe Burrow is not going to go 21 for 29, less than 200. I don't know if T. Higgins is going to play. But they're going to come up with a better scheme. They're going to have a better running game. They're going to run more. I'm seeing 9 from their lead back, but I think it was 18 maybe at best. They're going to have a more balanced scheme. The gentleman, I cannot pronounce his name, he's going to do very well filling in as a receiver if need be if to get T. Higgins is not available. I'm not that concerned. And it's more, I'm not getting by the absolute highest cheese. Coming off a game that could have very well lost on the Ravens struggling or scheming themselves out of a game. I'm not ready to crown the Chiefs the greatest thing in the entire world. I do think they're very talented, but this is a good opportunity to get points in a very formidable opponent. And as you can see, the line is plummeting as we speak.
Have we made it to the book?
I have not yet, but that might change very quickly.
No, is Steven down there yet?
Oh yeah, I'm at the book, so just trying to also hear the Zest speak, but y'all know it's loud down here. I can get you the updated lines though. Just let me know.
My biggest thing here is the line itself. I mean, I just don't expect the Chiefs to go out and blow out the Bengals, but at the same time, five's a weird number. I don't like it that much. But
five's a dead number, but I feel the same way as I did against the Ravens. This is going to be a one possession game. Five's a dead number for a reason because we go into overtime. Yes. Again, shout out to the Rams. I'm seeing incredible percentages here for the over, and it is coming as well. So I would not take the over either. And be an under game.
Yeah. To me, where the Bengals get a running game and how quickly are they going to have success with Chase early on when he hasn't really been doing anything and Higgins is out. So those are my biggest concerns with the Bengals, and I just wouldn't feel comfortable with it. If anything, I feel more comfortable laying the points with Mahomes because they just look like they could potentially catch fire on offense this year. And that, for the rest of the league, has got to just be frightening. So they scare me.
Well, fellas, my thoughts on this game and this pick. Chiefs +5. Chiefs -5. My only thought is Xavier Worthy. You know that fast player that a friend of ours was telling us about.
He's pretty fast.
He's a fast player. He told us. Yeah, Xavier Worthy's pretty fast, and I think he's going to continue to be fast. And you saw him working last week. Might not have 2 touchdowns this week, but might not need it to get by the Bengals, as we saw.
Replays.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's pump brakes here.
You're right.
It was impressive. They showed their new play.
No, we won't go overboard, but hey, we're gonna move on to your Commies. Right, we're rounding out the NFL with the Commies. Can you jinx the Communists? And here, take a look at the board. Those are the lines, gents. Those are the updated lines. Can you see them nice? I don't know. Obviously, they're gonna be way blurred, but I'm seeing some college football I'd rather bet on than NFL, but we'll get to that after this Commies talking.
Yeah, so a lot of this is bless the Giants' hearts. Truthfully, fuck them. Those are the worst uniforms I've ever seen in my life, and they played as ugly as they look. But this is the NFL. You're not as ugly as you look. You're not as good as you play, typically, unless you're the Chiefs. But they look pretty ugly too, and they have the greatest quarterback in this league. The Commies don't play defense. The Giants clearly showed they are reluctant to play defense. So I like the total here. Honestly, I'm a little snake bitten, but I do like the Giants to win outright. That's not a play, but it wouldn't shock me. This is one that I would consider losing. I think this is going to get closer to potentially. Well, never mind. Not even get to 15. I think there's going to be quite a bit of money. Well, not quite a bit. I think people are going to come into the Giants. The Giants are nowhere nearly as bad as they were. And Daniel Jones is going to look a lot better against the Commies defense than he did against the Dolphins. So I still think there's going to be enough points here. It is a divisional game, rivalry potential. They do stay under, but I don't think either one of these teams are going to be able to stop anybody. Baker Mayfield had 6 incompletions and 4 touchdowns. So I don't think the Commies are quite a formidable defense, even with all the available. And they don't even have that many game players around. So, worst case, backdoor cover. Jaden Daniels is going to do his thing. Maybe he'll throw to Scary Terry. But I know the Commies, they're going to not play defense.
Trust me, folks. Nobody knows the Commies like our Zesty. Public, tell us about it. You riding with him on this one?
I don't know how anybody could really like either of these teams, so the total makes a lot of sense to me because there will be no defense to be had. Daniels is going to score some with his legs, or at least put the I almost called them the foreskins. He's going to put the Commanders in a position to win, and I think that's going to lead to some points for the Commies. And Daniel Jones, don't know what to say about him. Just shout out to Malik Neighbors, who had to hit the reporter post game with, "Look, man, I'm just here trying to do my job. Okay, don't ask me too many questions about shit. I'm just here to do my job."
I can almost guarantee you this is not a prop, and I won't even pretend to know the odds. But if there's 2 or more quarterback rushing touchdowns, and it's plus money, take it because both quarterbacks are probably going to have a rushing touchdown. And again, not part of the show, but Terry McLaurin's going to have more than 2 catches. I can guarantee you.
It is important.
Or there's some problems. But yeah, this game has.
Is that our NFL picks? All right, so we're on to college. You know what I love about the sports book? Just hearing people clap. I mean, the Dodgers just scored a run. The Dodgers were tied for reference, everybody, Cubs, Dodgers were tied 7-7. The run comes in, and I hear a fucking roar over here. There's always somebody sweating out a game of the book.
If
If
I
you've
could,
never
I
really
would.
bet, there's something to it. There's something to enjoy about it. I'm not saying you should do it habitually, and definitely not saying you should do it irresponsibly, but it's a good vibe. It's fun.
If I could, I would
You can
live in
always
a
find
sport.
somebody to be your friend.
Damn right. I would live in a sport. I remember going to Wendover. I could just sit in a sports book and probably sit there for a weekend and be perfectly fine.
Oh yeah,
The bend over.
there's plenty of characters to just sit and view, or hell, I sit here long enough, I become one of the characters. I promise y'all that.
And now the miscellaneous section.
Yes.
Yeah, so a little bit. Man, I want Bama to come back. Well, I could care less, but there's a betting side of me. I want Bama to come back, show out. But they got Georgia next week, and they didn't look too terribly great against USF. In fact, counter argument would be they scored 5 touchdowns in 6 minutes. They didn't score much in 34 minutes. So that would be the counter argument. There's a lot of concern with the offensive line. I am curious to see next week how good USF is when we play in Miami. Maybe that'll be a better judgment, but that doesn't help us here. I absolutely hate everything about Wisconsin. The look ahead line not too long ago was Bama 8.5 to 10 or something like that. So now you're getting a whole bunch of points to have a look ahead game against Georgia. Tyler Van Dyke is incompetent. Wisconsin cannot run the ball. They're not Wisconsin old. They do have a decent defense. I think they're returning like 8 starters or something like that in their secondary. I don't know what to expect. This is a game I would be pretty happy if it never got to 17, but if this is 17, this is a game I would be happy to see. So this 3-score against this Bama looking ahead to Georgia. It's a play. The play is on Wisconsin, but the number would be a play on the Bama. People are trying to get the buyback game. I just don't see it. I think there's a few things going on with Bama that are interesting. But
Wait, is that Titans bet still supposed to be on that slide? Just curious.
yeah, this is just the kind of run through of other potential games to talk about.
Just miscellaneous.
Well, do I take this? If you were in Vegas right now, where would you take this $20 in my pocket? Do I throw it in a slot machine? Do I go to the table? Do I run to our sports book, which is closed, but I could always make the bet tomorrow? What are we doing with this $20 in my pocket for the show? And we will keep this $20 running for the show as long as we can keep it running, because I will be back in Vegas in two short weekends.
Isn't ASU on Friday?
Believe
I
think that's the quickest one. Let's get that money. So let's get that money now. ASU -3.
we'll do a 3-teamer.
Three-teamer.
ASU, UNLV, and Colts -3.
Okay. You heard it here first. We don't go to the slots. We don't go to the tables. We go to the sports book, even if it's closed. We find a way to make our sports books, ladies and gentlemen. Sports betting are we only here at Zesty's Best Bets.
Sports betting and pirating. We love the parlay.
Did you have anything to put in on the Wisconsin there, public?
I know nothing about Wisconsin. Saw the Bama game, watched them try to lose, and then decide they're going to come to life a little bit. And then USF made the score look worse than it was because they tried to do crazy shit at the end, which of course they should to beat Bama. No point in not. So don't hate the pick, especially with the look ahead against Georgia, but just don't know Wisconsin enough. I don't go up to the cheese land.
Yeah, to finish up on that, I think USF had 6 explosive plays that were misses that would have led into, I don't know what they calculate explosive plays anymore, 20 more points, but 3 of them were touchdowns. So Bama won. They look good if you look at the box score, but they did not play good. So I do not like Wisconsin at all. This could be an absolute beatdown. But if we get to 17 or 3 scores, then we're going to have to sweat that one out. Now going to the next one, I was actually watching it. I bet Kentucky versus South Carolina. Naturally, wrong on that side. I was pretty impressed with South Carolina defensively. Offensively, however, left a lot to be desired. Kentucky, they lost their offensive coordinator and they went back to shitty ass Kentucky. They were top 30 with their offensive coordinator for I think 2 or 3 years. Before that, they were in the top 90. So they went back to being shitty. They couldn't run the ball. They were out linemen, but they went back to what I mentioned earlier. The pass rushers were able to be pass rushers, edge setters. So they were able to just shoot the gap. Vanderdick or whatever his name is for Kentucky might be the fourth quarterback in college football because he looked absolutely lost. But to this, there's a potential of weather, and LSU didn't really run the ball that great against the other USC. So if it now becomes a drop back passing game, Nessmeyer is a 50% passer against zone coverage. So he is a little different quarterback. So if it becomes that way, the other side of it is if it is the passing game and they're not able to run the ball, I don't see a whole lot of points being applied by South Carolina either. This is going to be a game that you'll know pretty quickly how it's going to go. If the vaunted offensive line of LSU is able to be who they are and hold up, which they've shown they really cannot, early sample size, it might be a difficult game, and there is potential of weather here. And the line is dropping. I do think it's going to be lower than 49.5 by kick, even if it is a buy-up. You get it that time. But South Carolina's offense, even though they put 31 up on the board, they didn't look overly impressive at all. It was against a Kentucky defense that had 0 offense, so there was a lot of, not short fields, but plus field opportunity to be able to put points on the board. What do you think?
Well, first of all, do you know that this game might be in a fucking hurricane or remnants thereof? And do you know who? Do you know? Do you know who has played in a fucking hurricane before? Brian fucking Kelly. And you know what he did the last time he played in a fucking hurricane? He fucking put his head into his own asshole and tried to throw the ball fucking 50 times in a fucking hurricane. And ended up fucking losing.
That's who he is.
You got to consider Mother Nature.
49 and a half. And fuck Brian Kelly. I hope you're mad all fucking year.
To ASU,
On
man,
to the ASU.
my favorite team to watch. To be honest with you, I had Mississippi State last week. They came through. Good teams cover, or great teams cover. But man, I've watched the ASU, and man, they are a fun team to watch. They're a gentleman running back / linebacker. He doesn't tackle anybody, but he runs like a linebacker. Cam Scatterby. He probably won't play many more games, but he runs every ball he gets. Like it's the last time he'll ever step on a football field, and he was just fun to watch. I believe he's their head coach, young buck. I believe he's younger than I am, or my age at least. From Oregon, I believe he's their offensive coordinator on the offensive staff, and they're exciting. I don't know anything about Texas State other than they just got their ass beat by Arkansas State in the NC Dynasty game. But I haven't watched them play. I know they have some talent.
Good game, coach. Good game, coach.
Hey, it's tough out here with Texas State, man.
I guarantee you this line is inflated, but I've seen ASU. They are very fun to watch, and if they have a chance to cover, they're gonna try to cover. Very fun game, very entertaining game to watch. I can almost guarantee you. I don't know about the betting aspect of it, but ASU is worth watching.
See, I've thoroughly enjoyed them as well. And when I saw this line, I said to myself, is this a fucking trick? What do I not know about Texas State?
That's what I said too.
I tried to dig into it and figure out, like, where's the fucking trick? And I can't figure out where the trick is. So I love this line, and that means we're probably going to fucking get slaughtered on it, but it feels so good right now.
ASU is a team that will do everything to cover. I feel that in my heart. And that's a team I'm willing to take a chance on.
I will be tuning in to ASU on your recommendation. Always been a fan of old Sparky, so if they're gonna end up doing some shit this year, I'd like to jump on the bandwagon early.
It's all state college, and then I got 2 NFLs after, but
then
UNLV's
we'll
also
remember the Titans.
Yeah, exactly. UNLV's been very.
Hold on, is Carrot Top doing a horror show now? What the fuck is going on out here?
A horror show?
Like
a horror show, like a fucking spooky show.
Horror. Okay.
Remember when we went
Rick and shit?
With
Remember when we went as a show and more of us to Blue Bet Group? Good times.
I can neither confirm nor deny my presence at any Blue Man Group show.
I also do not. I misremembered.
Yeah. I may have misremembered too. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyways, on to Titans Under. You want to talk about that next? There's the strip, everybody.
I'll stick in college for a minute because it's following day. I know it's in our show area. UNLV's been very fun to watch too. They're They've been pretty impressive, and they haven't really played too many. Watched probably more UNLV games this year than I have in the history of my life, but they actually have a decent squad. I can't really give you any statistics, but they're a fun team to watch too. This is something. It's a standalone game, I believe. It might be another game when they play, but nobody's calendar them. To be honest, I don't know who they play. To put that in the minutes.
All I know is it looks
Kansas.
like Steve's about a football throw away from their campus.
Yeah, no, they play Kansas, and now it's coming back to me. Uh, Kansas is fun, explosive. Everybody keeps talking about Leopold and how great this offense is, but I watched them last week and they kind of struggled a little bit. UNLV's trending up. This game opened at 8.5. This was at 7.5, and it's kind of trending down. I think seven's a good number for a team that can match their points. The line's coming down, the over's going up, which typically we attribute to getting some love or potential points, even though more points means potential of the favorite covering. But I think they can actually go match for match, or it becomes a possession game, and if you're still getting 7.5, an 8.5 view earlier, it's still a two-possession game at that point. Another game which is still the 13th, Friday the 13th, that I did not list, but I wanted to talk about is Kansas State, Arizona University. This is going to be a fun fucking game too. Uh, Kansas State, I believe, is 11-4 at home against them. They're just amazing in the time. They sputtered a little bit against Tulane last week. When they came on, they outscored them by 24 points in the 3.5, something of that nature. They scored 24 straight. There's a lot of things that Kansas State can do that Arizona only is fighting with McMillan, I believe. They have a lot of excitement in Arizona, but Kansas State still can run the ball. Arizona struggled against New Mexico and Dampier, and I watched way too much New Mexico film this year. That Johnson can do the same thing, running. Kansas State has not came out with the quarterback run game like they typically do. They tried to give the ball to the running backs, which they have essentially a three-headed monster with the quarterback and two really good backs. Arizona can't stop that, and they cannot stop the pass, even if they do for the time. 7.5 looks really good to play Arizona, but I think Kansas State comes in and actually punches them in the face and eliminates this game. I hope not for entertainment unless I bet it. But Kansas State would be my side on that game. And then to close out the NFL miscellaneous, unless you have something to put in the public.
No, I'm good. Go unlove.
Yeah. The other two, I don't have ones listed here, but the Colts -3 is crazy. And the reason, there's a couple things. So way back when, and I know things have changed, Tom Brady's worth 6 points. The league has changed. They're claiming Jordan Love is worth almost 8 points. Almost switched. So you'd think there'd be the value on the Packers, being overvalued. However, you look in the week, Willis, he is rated, although it was a small sample size, he's not even rated as a third quarterback. What would that be? He was like 88th overall, so that's not even a third string quarterback in the league on multiple teams. And now he's going to start a game, and now it's keep it within a field goal on a team that is down a running back. They have Jacobs, they have lead receivers. But if you have a quarterback that can't throw the ball or potentially could throw touchdowns the other way, or just cannot move the offense, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then you add to that, he's never thrown a touchdown pass in his entire career. Small sample size, still 3 starting games, no touchdowns. And the Colts still are a formidable team, even though Richardson went 9 completions. I'm not looking at the stats. I think like 280 yards or 220 yards or something like that. 9 completions. So they're throwing the ball down the field. It's going to be a problem for Green Bay. It has been for a while. They're going to be able to do that. Not only that, he's going to be able to run the ball or control the ball. Green Bay's defense is just not good enough. They're good to cover the 3 points because of the lack of offense I think they're going to have. And then, unless you have something to add to that, public.
No, I really like this line. I like the Colts in this spot. They should be able to do what they need to do against the Packers, and I have similarly very little faith in Malik Willis. So I like this one.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because it's backwards. You would think you'd have the value on the one player, but the replacement player is so far beneath another replacement player that it just uh, I do not think it closes at 3. I think this gets higher. I think it's closes 3.5, 4 points. The last one before, if we have time, potential teasers, but the Titans under 42. I gave Will Levis my flowers, but against the Jets, both of these teams really we played above the good defenses, give or take. I mean, the Bears definitely were benefited by Will Levis's lack of production. But the Titans defense also did pretty good against being a rookie at a very, in theory, skill position offense. I just very hesitant to think this game turns into a shooting test because as a coach, I would think, oh, Will Levis clearly is not ready to check and duck. Let's see if we can run the ball. It's just have success, although it's a different animal, but let's see if we can do this. And now maybe you're losing 3, 4 possessions playing that game, limiting potential turnovers. And I just think at some point, I can't fall on the sword again with Tennessee, but I do think Tennessee would be the side that would play in this game. The hype. The Jets just came back from San Francisco. They probably just landed today. I'm kidding, but it's still West Coast, East Coast, down to Tennessee. So there's not a whole lot of continuity going on. I just don't see a great offensive output by either one of these. Again, it could be a 24-14. You still hit the under. Still feels like a competitive game. Or it could be a field goal fest like you saw in Pittsburgh. I don't see that happening, but Rogers didn't impress me. Will Levis definitely didn't impress me. And that's how I play this game.
Rogers looks old and Will Levis look bad. So I like the under here. And now we will try and keep on creeping on.
For the
So
creepy.
don't tease Uncle Shannon, baby. Don't tease Uncle Shannon. Hopefully everybody caught the latest news about Uncle Shannon and understands the reference there. We are going to talk to teasers. So, Zest, what the fuck's a teaser? And why are we doing it?
Well, teaser is an opportunity that the sports books offer. They have 3.5, 6, 7. The larger the number, the bigger the vig, the bigger they take. But you're able to actually take away from the point spread. For example, you can get the Chargers, Cowboys, Niners, all to win on a 3-team parlay, probably plus money. However, teasers can be nasty if you don't get through the number. For example, the Ravens teasing -6. You're not teasing through a number, so now you're at 3.5. Still a bad number, even though you think the Ravens are good because it can end up in a field goal. At that point, you're losing the value of the teaser. The idea of a teaser is potentially 2 teams, maybe 3 teams, but you don't want to add too many because it just adds to the algorithm of potentially losing the bet because now you still have 4 outcomes at less value of paying, but it's still 4, even though still it's better, albeit Cincinnati last week. Everybody thought they'd beat the Patriots. I'm not a huge teaser guy, but there is value. But typically, to make money, you have to add more income or out of pocket or wages to it. For example, a Giants to 8.5 and a Chargers to win, probably close to even money, maybe -115. So it's like one bet, twice your money, but you feel a little better at, you're getting good numbers. So if I were to couple 2-teamers, I would potentially play. Don't trust the chart or the Panthers at all. But again, this is the NFL. You're not as bad as you look. Chargers to win, but again, that's West Coast going East Coast to win. I still think they're more talented. I consider that leg. Cowboys big. You're always paying the Cowboys big, especially if they come off a win. The Saints were just this high. They're getting extra, and now you're looking at Cowboys just to win coming home. That's potential. I don't know if I would touch that one. Again, I'm not a huge teaser guy, but these are some of the games. Another weird one. These are all knots, I would say. So you look at the Niners, now you can get them just to win a game with another team. So teams I would consider teasing would be the Giants, get them to 8.5 because that's a possession. Even in overtime with 2 points and something weird, you're still 2 possessions. The Rams potentially getting them to 7.5, which is in theory 2 possessions, but And the Texans. I would consider the Texans just a win at home. But,
Some
but yeah,
decent
there's
shit out there to tease your tickle.
yeah. Don't ever tease totals though. Don't ever do it. That's dumb. That's
Could have used that
about
advice
all I got.
last week.
Yeah, totals are dumb. Don't tease totals.
1.5.
Yeah.
Damn Pitt in Cincinnati.
Well,
But
fuck it. Since I'm talking here, real short. Very difficult for the Eagles to come from Brazil and be a 7-point favorite against Atlanta. I am curious to see if Kirk Cousins can actually move, considering he didn't take a snap under center. That's still a very weird line. I'd be curious to see how that goes about it. That's all I know.
no,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Eagles will be curious.
Bonus.
We've got
You stayed till the end, you get a bonus.
exactly. And if you want the full lineup of show picks, we will have a link to the Substack in the description of the video. Go there, you can sign up. We'll be sending out picks shortly before money is thrown down or shortly thereafter. And we'll also provide you some write-ups throughout the year and some more call-outs for point-shaving motherfuckers who throw the spread against us. So
Fixes in.
we will reconvene here next week. Everyone enjoy the weekend gambling. And this has been Zesty's Best Bets, live from Las Vegas, in part with Steve down there.
Bye-bye.
Adios. Or ASU adios.